I recently made a video where I called agents live on the video and literally negotiated $20,000 to $40,000 off the price of the home. And I got some comments saying, hey, that's cool and all, but that's not going to happen in California. So what did I do? I went to my community section. I posted a very awesome picture of my beautiful, long, luscious curls and a beautiful, charming smile of mine. And I said, all right, Californians, let's see what you got. Send me some houses on Zillow. Send me some houses via, email, whatever you got. I want to call them and I want to record it and show you guys that it can happen anywhere. And I got into a little pickle because I did some research and it turns out California is a two-party consent law. Because it's a two-party consent law, I need the consent of both people on the phone to record legally. Arizona is a one-party consent law, so as long as I have consent and I give consent, which I was on the phone, that I can record it. So unfortunately, I cannot show you the footage of me talking on the phone with these two agents. And you're gonna just have to take just take my word for it. And I have Zeke here. Zeke, hello Zeke, who has seen the footage. So he has heard the calls. So other than that, you're gonna have to take my full word for it. But I did call two houses, and I think they're different parts of California. I'm not sure. I can give you the details, can't give you the address or anything like that. But you're just gonna have to take my word for it. Was I able to negotiate off the price? Well, let's find out. Our first house was one that was in Royal Oaks, California. Where the heck is Royal Oaks? According to Google Maps, it is way the heck out here. What is that? Near San Jose, between San Jose and LA. And what's the main city here? I guess I don't really know. But anyways, that's Royal Oaks, California. Surprisingly, houses were not too expensive there. Oh, I mean, not expensive being not $1 million. The house in question was listed currently, let's just say between $795,000 to $800,000. It's been on the market for over 100 days, and it has recently got a price cut between $35,000 and $45,000. So it's had some heavy price cuts, and someone sent it to me saying, hey, good luck getting this reduced, because this has already been reduced a lot. So let me give a quick summary of the phone call. So first things first, when you guys send me a Zillow link, I don't call the number on Zillow because that's probably going to route to some kind of Zillow number that Zillow, their call center, or routes to Zillow and then to them. It's weird. So I just basically Google the information of the listing agent, and that's where I was able to get on the phone with them. Not the phone. Before calling, I figured out that they last purchased a house in the mid 500s in 2015. So it's about 7 years ago, and they're trying to sell it now for, like I said, we'll call it low 800s, high 700s. So there is definitely some equity there about, well, actually, that's kind of crazy to think about in California terms, that it's only about $100,000 of equity in only a year. Well, actually, $200,000 of equity, sorry. I've seen some pretty egregious ones, so that's pretty surprising. But anywho, I called and chatted with the listing agent, and what really was interesting is in the 100+ days it's been on the market, they haven't had a single offer. And how did I find this out? I just asked. Conversation started as normal. I introduced myself. I found out if they've had any offers. They didn't. What is the situation with the seller? They mentioned at length about a situation with the personal problems with both sellers, a potential separation, and how difficult it's been. So apparently they've had it listed previously as well, and it's a big ordeal. So when you're going into an ordeal like this, I look at this and I say, okay, well, it hasn't had any offers. They're probably a little desperate at this point. So I threw a number out. I threw 750 out just to kind of feel them out and see what would they do. They weren't completely negative to it. They didn't give me a phone slap across the face, but they simply said, send it over and we can present it. So when an agent says just send anything over, they're desperate to present anything at this point. The agents get to the point, and I'm not saying this is a situation with this person. I've just can speak from personal experience that not only when I call, but even myself, when a listing has been sitting on the market for a bit, it makes you look bad as an agent, and you want to produce some kind of results. So them saying, hey, just send anything, please, gives me an indication that they can probably work with us. So 750, initially they said, well, we're not sure if they'll accept it, but just send anything, we want to work with you. In that case, I probably wouldn't start at 750. This is probably one that you start off a lot more aggressively. Maybe 720, 80,000 under price. Now, odds are they probably aren't going to like it. They aren't going to go for it, but you have the absolute leverage as a buyer to try it. And especially when the agent divulges information like that about the seller, about how they're going through some issues and whatnot, then it presents the opportunity as the buyer to have more leverage. And the second house I called, which I'll talk about right now, I'll share with you what happened there. It's a completely different situation, but in this case, I probably would make an offer around 720. They would probably counter me somewhere 760, maybe even 780, and I talk them down 750, 760. Now, that would be the goal. Now, you don't want to start at 750, 760 because then they're going to counter you at 770, 780. A lot of times when you make that offer, people already have assumed, okay, well, we have this at least. If they counter offer like that 750 offer with 790 or 785, and you counter offer at 775, they feel like they lost $10,000. Even though they never had those $10,000, they feel that they lost that. So it's better to start lower, 720, and then meet in the middle, 740, 750. That way they feel like they got something out of it. You feel like you got something out of it, and it works out a little better. Now, normally I wouldn't start that cheeky, but in this situation, because we know a little more about the situation, I would say go for it. So you never want to divulge too much information. You never want to seem desperate, because this is exactly why you get an agent like me basically to take advantage of it. The second house that was sent to me was, I think this is LA, California, San Bernardino, north of Riverside. Is that Los Angeles? Is basically Los Angeles all those cities here? Listen, the only experience I have with California is driving to Anaheim for Disneyland and getting out of there as fast as I can, okay? This house is in San Bernardino. It looks like it's near the mountain. That looks nice. It's been on the market since July, so about 40 plus days. And the last time it was sold was, or essentially when the sellers bought it, was in late 2020 for $520. And they're now selling the house mid 700s. 740, 745, 750. They just did a pretty heavy price reduction. They were originally at 770, so they reduced it about 30, 40K. And I called. I was nice, and first thing I said is, would you guys take 700,000? Just kind of wanted to get a feel of the situation. This listing agent was a lot stronger. She said, no, my client will not take that. We would rather just put it for rent. They have told me we're just going to rent the house if we don't get what we want. And I said, okay, that's fair. How about 720? You think it's worth making that offer? And you usually get some pushback, like they're saying just make the offer. I usually my go-to when they push back is, well, listen, I don't want to waste your time or my time. I'd rather just tell this verbally to see if it's even worth it. Because, before we go and take all the time, I don't want to insult you with an offer or whatever. I know it's not your decision. I just wanted you have a better feel of the situation. Should we walk at this point, or would you guys entertain that offer? At that point, they said that they would entertain that and they would try to go back and forth. But once again, they stated they're pretty sure they want around list price, and because they're just going to put it back for rent if they don't get the price they want. So I don't know if this is true or not, but this kind of is a way for the seller to take back some leverage. Because even though, if you look at the numbers, they kept saying was, it's worth that price. It's worth mid 700s. Sorry. So, I'll just tell you the number. It's 740. It's worth that, it's worth that. It's worth that. They kept saying that over and over again. We're just going to go back. And that could be true if they are just like, we're just rent it if we can't sell it. That's 100% in their power, and that in a way does get leverage. But the problem with this situation, which is a situation that's happening probably a lot right now that you guys need to learn from, is people are using past numbers, so the past like few months, to justify the price of that's currently worth. Yes, it could be worth 740 if the market continued as it was before, but it's fair to say that we're now in the same market as it was a month ago, 2 months ago. So it's not fair to use those same comps when there was a progressing market as now. So them saying, oh, it's worth the price we're off. It's worth, yeah, it could be worth that months ago, but we have to look at the reality. Things are going down. We can't look at the elevation as we're going down. If we check the elevation as we're hiking down a mountain, it's going to change. You can't use past experience of when you were climbing up the mountain as, oh yes, it's this elevation. You know what I mean? So in this case, it's in their power to think what they want to think. It's in their power to just go rent if they want to. And it's in the agent's power to believe that they're justified in that value. At the end of the day, I would probably make an offer at 720. And I would say, okay, see if it works. If they are going to be truly stubborn, then they might just counter back at the price that they are and just not do anything about it. But the end of the story, even if there's stubborn people and people that are willing to work with you in any market. And if you figure if a situation that's a stubborn person that is defying logic, like they're not really looking at the numbers, and there's nothing you can do about that. You can just make the best offer. If they come back higher, you just walk and move on. Interesting story. That's actually, it reminds me of not this house we have, but the second house, the house right before that we bought. I remember we just wanted to get in this area desperately, and like the area that we currently live in is like has one of the best school districts, and we're like, our kids almost in school. It was like 5-6 years ago. Like, we have to get in this house. It was listed at $420 or something, and it was out of our price range at the time. Once again, it was a while back, and they were like, okay, let's offer them. It's $420 is way overpriced. It's not even worth $400. Honestly, it's probably worth closer to $360, $370. But we're like, okay, let's just make it work. Let's just get the house, right? We offered $400, which I was super uncomfortable with. It was like not even worth that, but I was like, whatever, fine, we'll do it. They counter back like at $415 or $420, probably list price. We say, no, that's not going to work. We might do, we're going to, maybe $405 or something. And they're like, no, we'll do $412 or $415. And they were just so like trying to nickel and dime us so badly. And it was just like, we walked, we didn't went on to do it. Like 2 weeks later, a house came up, the one we ended up buying for $365, and we got it. And guess what? That house they had to reduce to $390, to $380, to $375, and they never found a buyer for it. Let me see if I can actually find it. Yeah, look, I found it. It listed here $415. I got the number exactly right. It was 70. It was listed July 2018. Probably it was like August, September when we were making offers. And it wasn't the best condition, but they were $415, and they were so aggressively at that number that they didn't want to reduce it. And the funniest thing is, if I look in the tax records, they ended up selling it 2 years later when supposedly things got even more expensive. The values went up. They sold it for $383 when our dumb butts were willing to pay $400 for it. But they were so greedy. They're like, we need $415, we need $412, $410. They could have made $15,000 more if they just went with that. So the point of that story is there are some people that just won't see logic. There are some people that you can literally show them, guys, the sky is blue, and they're going to just be like, no, the sky is green. And it's because of their belief system or whatever it may be. Don't take it personally. In that case, you just move on. So thank you guys for watching. Please send me houses. Try not, make sure your state's like it would be awesome if I get some states where I can actually record the calls and show it to you guys. But if you keep sending me California houses, I can't. You just have to get these summary videos. I hope they help. Home buying resources are in the link in the description if you want to check it out. If you're looking for an agent referral, link in the description as well. Guys, email me anytime at contact@javiervidana.com. In Old English, Zeke, put it here Old English like gangster style. And put some freaking gangster glasses on me too. See you, essays. Appreciate it.